Salaf used to say that a person who is in the pursuit of getting Jannah, then know that Jannah is also looking for you. So if you want to know if you're going to get to Jannah, see how much you're searching for it. So may Allah bless all of you sitting here patiently for the last few hours and listening attentively throughout the lectures. I have about 15 minutes with you all, and inshallah we'll go for Maghrib. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulih al-kareem. Amma ba'd. قال الله عز وجل في كتاب العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما عندكم ينفد وما عند الله باق. Brothers and sisters in Islam, every one of us, each and every single one of us, we have two different strengths. We have the strength of amal, the strength of action, and we also have the strength of fikr. And we will translate fikr as loosely as mindset, your thought. These are two strengths each and every one of us have. Allah has given us the strength of an amal because we know that a'mal are the greatest asbab to turn the tide. Of course, there's all these different asbab we can use, but the greatest sabab is amal. And we all also have the strength of the mind and the focus. And we also know that the greater the strength of the mind, the more mindful a person is, the more a person gets out of their actions. For example, take salah. Take salah for example. The more mindful we are in salah, the more our salah will give us. Take dua for example. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi was asked, what is the distance between me and Allah? He said, da'watun sadiqa min qalbin sadiq. The journey, that it looks far, but the distance between me and Allah is a truthful word of asking Allah, and this truthful word coming from a truthful heart, meaning an attentive heart. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, everyone's du'as will be accepted except for the one whose mind and heart is not synchronized with their words. Min qalbin lahin. You're not paying attention. So the heart and the mind is what drives the impact of the act. That's why Hasan al-Basri rahmatullahi alayhi was asked, ما بال المتهجدين من أحسن الناس وجوها. Why is it that the people who pray tahajjud are the most beautiful people in the world? Why do they have this divine nur? And he replied, لأنهم خلوا بالرحمن فألبسهم نورا من نوره. It's because they emptied their mind and focused at night in their conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then Allah blessed him with nur from his divine nur. When the Prophet ﷺ first started giving da'wah to the world, the first thing he did was he changed the mindset of Sahabah before he changed their action. Salah came way after. Zakat came way after. Hajj came way after. Fasting came way after. Way before that was the way the Sahaba thought. And everything you've heard today is because of one mindset change in the life of Sahaba. And my topic today is the way the Sahaba were tolerant and the perseverance of the Sahaba. What made them so tolerant and made them so patient throughout their difficulties that they went through? It was two things. Two mindset changes that they went through because of which they could tolerate the sufferings of this world. That's why Bilal radhiallahu anhu was asked, how did you go through the difficulty and the pain of being dragged in the streets of Mecca? He said, لَقَدْ مُزِجَتْ حَلَاوَةُ الْإِيمَانِ بِمَرَارَةِ الْعَذَابِ فَطَغَتْ حَلَاوَةُ الْإِيمَانِ بِمَرَارَةِ الْعَذَابِ فَصَبَرْتُ. These two feelings were mixed as I was going through this pain. The sweetness of worshiping Allah, knowing Allah is pleased with me, and at the same time going through the pain of difficulty, and the sweetness of the pleasure of Allah prevailed over the pain of suffering, so it was easy to be patient. This is a mindset change. Early on, the first mindset change was this: what you have, ما عندكم ينفد. What you have, you lost. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. What you deposited in the treasures of Allah is what remains. So now here's Uthman bin Mad'un radiyallahu anhu in front of the Kaaba, as a poet is reciting a poem. أَلَا كُلُّ شَيْءٍ مَا خَلَى اللَّهُ بَاطِلٌ. Everything other than Allah is null and void. He said, صَدَقْت. وَكُلُّ نَعِيمٍ لَا مَحَالَةَ زَائِلٍ. And then he says, every bounty and pleasure and happiness will one day come to an end. Uthman, he says, كَذَبْت. You lied. إِنَّ نَعِيمَ الْجَنَّةِ لَا يَزُولُ. Because the bounties of Jannah will never end. As soon as he said this, all the people around him, they realized he's a Muslim. He has accepted Islam. So they jumped him. And he had beautiful eyes. So they wanted to hurt him where it hurt. They wanted to hurt him where it would hurt the most. So they went for his eyes. And someone took a dagger and put it in his eye. And some narration, someone punched his eye over and over again, and he lost sight from one eye. So this man with beautiful eyes has now lost one eye. That's how we will frame it. Now his uncle, Walid, comes up to him and he says, Inna aynaka laghaniyatun amma asabaha. He said, Oh Uthman, your eye was much more precious than what you made it go through. You don't have to do this. You know what he replies with? He says, Inna ayni sahiha lafaqiratun ila ma asaba ukhtaha fi sabilillah. The eye that can see is envying the eye that can't see, because the eye that can't see was given for Allah. Ye aankh dusri aankh par rush kar rahi hai. Literally, it's envying. A mother would take honor not in the son that is alive, but the son that is shaheed. The one who she gave for the sake of Allah. A mother would say, I'm the mother of the shaheed. I'm the father of the shaheed, because that son, that brother, that sibling was given for the sake of Allah. Urwa bin Zubair, rahmatullah alayhi, he went to Iraq in a royal trip. He took his son with him. While he was there, his son passed away in an accident. While he was there, his foot became injured and the disease spread and his foot had to be cut off. Now he returns back to Medina Munawwara, and the people of Medina have come out to receive him. And when they see him, his son is not with him, and also one of his limbs have been cut off. So they look at him with this eye of grief. And he looks at them and he says in a dua, Allahumma innahu kana li bununun arba'a فأخذت مني واحد وأبقيت لي ثلاث وإن كان لي أطراف أربعة فأخذت مني واحد وأبقيت لي ثلاث ويم الله وما أخذت فلقد أبقيت. He says, Oh Allah, I had 4 sons, you took 1 and you left 3 with me. I had 4 stretched out limbs, my 2 arms and 2 legs. You took 1 and you kept 3 with me. Then he said, Oh Allah, what you have taken is what you have preserved. What I have is not preserved. When the Prophet saw a man with his son, he would come to the masjid with his son all the time. He said, Atuhibbuhu, you love him? A few days later, he saw that son was no longer with him. He found out that he passed away. He looked at him and he said, don't you wish that on the day of judgment, when you go to any door of Jannah, your son will be waiting there to receive you? Don't you wish for that? He says, Bala ya Rasulullah, of course, O Prophet of Allah, that son was given for Allah. So a person then asks, Alahu khasa am li kullina? Is this reward only for that man? Or is this going to be our children as well? If one of our children passed away, will they be waiting for us in Jannah? He said, this is going to be for all of you. Everybody looked at it differently now, because now the mindset was for akhirah. It was not for this world. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu loses his brother. And he starts crying. Someone asked him, why are you crying? He said, إِنَّهُ كَانَ أَخِي فِي النَّسَبِ وَصَاحِبِ مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. He was my blood brother. He was also my companion with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those of us who have lost siblings understand the pain of losing a sibling. I lost my youngest brother 3 years ago in a car accident. His name was Abdul Rahim rahmatullah alayh. 22 years old. It's very difficult for the family to go through this. And this brother is, is crying because he lost his own brother, blood brother, and companion with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I shared a story yesterday in Calgary of Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu looking for his blood brother in the Battle of Yamama, who he was looking, where is he? In the Battle of Yamama. And his blood brother's name was Zayd. And only one incident is narrated about him. This is for all of us sitting here today. We don't have to be Miftah. We don't have to be a scholar. We don't have to be a speaker to make an impact. Umar bin Khattab, his name is known all over the world. But his brother, only one narration is narrated about him. But he also left an impact in his brother's life and for the rest of the world to come after him. You don't have to be the popular person or the speaker, but you can make an impact in your own way. Umar bin Khattab looks for his brother, finds his brother among the shuhada, picks his brother's head up and puts it in his lap. He cries even though he was this giant, strong man, but as seeing his brother passing away, he cries. He washes his face from the blood and the sweat and the dirt on his face. And then he says to his brother, لَقَدْ سَبَقْتَنِي مَرَّتَيْنِ سَبَقْتَنِي إِلَى الْإِسْلَامِ وَسَبَقْتَنِي إِلَى الشَّهَادَةِ. Oh my brother, you beat me twice. You beat me to Islam and you beat me to martyrdom. That was their competition. Their competition was who can get to Jannah first. Who can get to the... Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah was asked, مَتَى يَجِدُ الْبَرْءُ لَذَّةُ الرَّاحَةِ. When will a person finally taste the enjoyment of comfort? He says, بِأَوَّلِ قَدَمٍ يَضَعُهُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. The first step he takes into Jannah. Until then, he just got to grind through life. And understand the mindset of Sahabah where Allah shifted them. That don't worry, you didn't lose anything. You gained. That's why, you know, when the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-yadul ulya khayrun min al-sufla. The upper hand is better than the lower hand. And we know that the upper hand is the giving hand and the lower hand is the receiving hand. But the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ was, I want you to come up here. Oh, why are you recording me for? I'm not that popular. Come here. Come here. And the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ, come here so people can see you, is when he would give something, what's your name? Ibrahim. When he would give something, he would give it with his lower hand. So now, you take from your upper hand. So the hadith is saying, Al-yadul ulya khayrun min al-yad al-sufla. The upper hand is better than the lower hand. But when the Prophet would give, he would give with the lower hand. And now the receiver is taking with the upper hand. You guys get what I'm saying? Right? If someone gives you like this, don't take it. Like, we don't need it. The sunnah is to give like this. So now do this again. Why? Why was this a sunnah of the Prophet of Allah? Because he also understood, in ahsantum, ahsantum li anfusikum. The first beneficiary of your goodness is you yourself. So he was in the gesture of his giving, he was telling the ummah, the one who's taking is better than the one who's giving. Because the one who's taking is depositing it for me in the treasures of Allah. What's remaining is not remaining. What remains is what Allah has. Go ahead, you can take this. Give him a round of applause. So Abdullah bin Mas'ud he was crying over his brother, and I gotta conclude. And someone asked him why. He says, إِنَّهُ كَانَ أَخِي فِي النَّسَبِ. He was my blood brother. وَصَاحِبِ مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. And he was my companion with the Prophet of Allah. This mindset change. He says, لَأَنْ يَمُوتَ فَأَحْتَسِبُهُ أَحَبَّ إِلَيَّ مِنْ أَنْ أَمُوتَ فَيَحْتَسِبُنِي. That he dies before me and I can get the reward of sabr is more beloved to me than me dying before him and him getting the reward of sabr. Umar bin Abdul Aziz, rahmatullahi alayhi, his brother Suhail passes away. His close student Muzahim passes away in the span of a few days. And someone tells him, your son Abdul Malik is on his deathbed. He goes to his son's side, who he loves so much, and he says, Ya bunayya kayfa tajiduk? How are you feeling, oh my son? Now take a step back for a second and sit and picture yourself, and Allah give all of us afiyah, but we have witnesses many times in our life where a father or mother is grabbing the hands of their sick child who's in the 4th stage of cancer, about to leave this world any minute. It's a very tough place to be. And this is a conversation he's having with his own son. He says, how do you feel, oh my son? And he says, Ya abati, inni ajdul maut. I feel like I'm about to die. And then he says, لَأَن تَكُونَ فِي مِيزَانِ أَحَبَّ إِلَيَّ مِنْ أَنْ أَكُونَ فِي مِيزَانِكَ. He says, oh my son, let me tell you something. That you could be in my scale of good deeds, meaning I could be patient after losing you. I would prefer that more than you being patient after losing me. Because I want the reward of sabr. Look at their mindset. It was completely different. And the son replied to the father, he said, oh my father, what you love more is what I love as well. And these are the last words, and he passed away. So brothers and sisters in Islam, the first way that the Sahaba persevered was the mindset of what they have is not actually theirs. What they deposited in the bank of Allah, in the treasure of Allah, is theirs, so they were willing to give it up more and more. And the second thing, and I'll conclude with it, was the fact that throughout their life after they left the Prophet ﷺ, they just wanted to be with him again. That's all they wanted. None of us sitting here ever saw the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. None of us spent time with him. When Al-Qa'qa Al-Awsi rahmatullahi alayhi was walking with his friend, he asked his friend, he says, أخبرني بشيء يرغبني إلى الجنة. Please tell me something that will motivate me to get to Jannah. Just tell me something. We've heard so many things today. He says, tell me something that will motivate me to get to Jannah. And Al-Qa'qa Al-Awsi's friend said to him 3 words. He said, Fiha Rasulullah. In Jannah you will find the Prophet of Allah. Fiha Rasulullah. We weren't even lucky enough to be the spider who protected the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. We weren't even lucky enough to be the cloud that gave him shade, the tree that he leaned on. We weren't even lucky enough to be the sand under his feet. If we ever want to be with him, then we have to get to Jannah, and that's what motivated the Sahaba. When the uncle of Anas bin Malik when he was stabbed, as soon as he was stabbed and his soul was leaving his body, why do you think he said, Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba? When Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu was waking people up for Fajr Salah, and his assassin came and stabbed him, and the moment he was stabbed, he said, Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba, Wallahi, I have become successful. It's because at that moment they knew that they will be with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They knew that becoming shaheed doesn't mean you die. That means you're alive forever with Allah, with the Sulaha, the Anbiya, with the Shuhada and Siddiqeen. And that's our goal. And I conclude with this. Umar al-Khattabi says that كل عمل تركت الموت كرهت الموت لأجله. Every act that you would not wish to die doing. So stop asking if it's halal and haram. Stop asking if this is permissible or impermissible. Live your life with this standard. كل عمل كرهت الموت لأجله. Every act that you do not want to see yourself dying with. You don't want to see yourself dying like that. My older brother, he was flying back from a city and there was crazy turbulence. And he said that the plane just fell thousands of feet all of a sudden, and he was sure he was going to die in this incident. So at this point, he starts doing his dhikr, but the person next to him, he can't stop saying swear words. He's just saying every swear word in the world. So my brother is saying, Wallahi, I never imagined dying listening to swear words. He said, I never imagined myself dying, someone saying F, this, that. And he was just going crazy. So my brother said, brother, can you calm down? So the guy said, are we going to be okay? He says, I'm not sure, but just stop swearing. Just stop swearing, because I never seen myself dying like this. Well, do you wish to see yourself dying watching Netflix 3 o'clock in the morning? Do you wish to see yourself dying while listening to music, driving a car? Do you wish to see yourself dying while you have disobeyed your parents? Umar al-Khattab is saying, all those acts that you don't wish to see yourself dying with. Another narration is of Abu Hazim. He says, فَاتْرُكُوا الْيَوْمِ. Then leave those acts today, because you never know when you're going to die. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.